Happy holidays, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Yet Another Beer Show. I'm Colin.
I'm Chris.
And today we're going to do it's not quite a Christmas ale, but a seasonal ale. And it's the Boulder Beer Company's Never Summer Ale.
I believe it's a winter warmer style.
It's a winter warmer, which you know what that means. I don't know what that means.
Well, I just looked at it's very much along the styles of a Sam Adams seasonal winter lager, where a winter warmer is basically going to be hallmarked by a 5 to 9% alcohol, lots of spices, pretty good caramel color, caramel flavoring. Usually an alcohol warmth is not uncommon or not to be unexpected, so I expect it to be a pretty rich or deep beer and have lots of different complex flavors in there.
Yeah, on the label, Boulder Beer Company says this is an aggressive winter ale. So it's an aggressive winter seasonal, and it should have a ruby red, and it's assertively hopped and brewed with a dark caramel malt. So I like these adjectives.
I like the GRE words they threw in there to make the beer.
This is an aggressive winter seasonal. So if it's aggressive, I would expect the spices to really jump out of it.
But we must remain cautious because of the hop mountain left us so disappointed that it was not a mountain of hops, that this aggressive spice may end up just being a small meandering flavor.
Right. So don't always buy into the advertising campaign on the side of the label.
It's got a really pretty amber color.
Yeah, the color seems right. They said ruby red. I would say okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It smells very, very. It's very aromatic. It's a lot of spices. It smells like it would have a really full body taste. So it has a really healthy, sustaining head on it. I don't know how yours.
Yeah,
it's still pretty good.
It's like a nice tan color, and it's probably about like a finger height there, and a little bit of carbonation, kind of slow carbonation. And yeah, I mean, they said ruby red. I see more of it's kind of a traditional, it's like almost a longer color.
Yeah, it actually reminds me of like an Irish red almost. So, want to try it out?
Yeah, let's.
It is definitely a winter warmer.
Yeah,
a lot of spices, a lot of. The hops aren't very overpowering, but they're very present throughout the entire sip of beer, as well as the spices. There's a little bit of a rich caramel aftertaste almost, I think.
Right, and I think the other thing for me is I can, on this particular beer, I can sense some of the alcohol. Even though it's not a real high alcohol content, there's a little bit of a bite at the end, which isn't coming from any of the flavors, it's coming from the alcohol in there.
I think the winter warmers in particular, they're certainly not shy about throwing alcohol into the mix. So this one, I think it does pretty well. I think it's 5.94% alcohol, so it's certainly more robust than an average beer that you would normally have. But they do a pretty good job blending in there, so it's not just like you're drinking scotch. Like all you taste is out the alcohol.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good balance, actually. I mean, that was kind of the first thing that I noticed. Well, not the first thing, but the most prominent feature of the first taste I had. But after that, it's kind of like you were saying, a little bit of caramel flavor, kind of a smooth, almost like candy-like consistency.
It has a really low carbonation level too. I mean, as you had noted, with the manifestation of the head, it's a low carbonation level. It's almost it's borderline normal beer and then cask conditioned ale that you would have in a microbrewery, where there's almost no carbonation that I've had in some of them, where it was almost like I was drinking. They said it was like a Scotch beer, but I'm like, no, this is basically Scotch with a club soda splash in it. So
it's not so low as you and I recently did a porter that was had coffee and flavors in it. It's not like that, which almost has kind of a flat consistency. You can tell that there's a decent amount of carbonation, but it's much less than you'd get in a lot of, I say like an IPA or anything like that.
I find the taste sits in my palate just a little bit longer, so that it's nice because there's a really nice balance of the spices. So I like that it stays around there, because sometimes the holiday beers, it tastes really good, but then it's gone right away. So this
almost
is
like
nice.
It evaporates.
This is nice that it kind of stays with you a little bit. Not that it stays too long, but it stays with you pretty nicely. So it's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of traditional winter flavors, but it is it's a little bit unique in that regard. I would say that it like, lets the flavor sit with you, and the alcohol is not overbearing. So
it's good, and I think if I had my druthers for some different summer or winter ales, rather, I'm looking never summer.
It's never summer, summer ale, never summer.
It's if I had my druthers on some winter ales, like I actually would prefer this over a lot of the common marketplace winter ales, like the Sam Adams. I think is a really great winter ale, but I would probably select this over the Sam Adams.
I think the nice thing about this is because of its not super low, but kind of relatively low alcohol content. You could drink a lot of these, you can enjoy it, and it's light enough that you could enjoy it that way, but it also brings the flavors that kind of a heavier beer does.
This would be a great beer to stand outside for a nice winter football game and
warmer
winter warmer. But it's good, I like it.
Yeah, I would say Chris and I both seem to be pretty high on it. It's Boulder Beer Company's Never Summer Ale. Don't let the fact that it says summer confuse you. It is a winter ale.
Never summer.
Never summer. Note the pine trees on it. Sounds like all around it's a good try for the winter, and go out there and give it a taste. That's Chris.
That's Colin.
And we were Yet Another Beer Show. Take care, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Never summer. Happy holidays. Never summer.
This is good. Winter. Seasonal.
Christmas.